to the denominator, and this time the rationalization is going to involve what's called the conjugate, because we have a sum or a difference on the denominator, so we can't just multiply by one thing. Okay, but the technique is a standard here. So 2 plus rad 3, we're going to use the backup conjugate multiplication or difference of squares formula that yields a squared minus b squared, so that way we can cancel out these radicals that are in the bottom. So on the left hand side, we're going to multiply top and bottom by the same quantity, in this case 2 minus radical 3 and 2 minus radical 3. In the numerator, this is going to require the distributive property, which is fine. So you have 5 times 2 is 10, minus 5 times rad 3 is minus 5 rad 3. And in the denominator, because of the difference of squares, you are going to get 2 times 2, 4, but then we don't need to worry about the oi's because they're going to cancel out. So we'll get a 2 rad 3 certainly, but we'll also get a minus 2 rad 3. All we really care about is the minus of the rad 3 times the rad 3. Rad 3 times rad 3 is positive 3. So you get 4 minus 3. So what do we get as our final answer? Well, in the numerator we have 10 minus 5 rad 3, but in the denominator notice we have 4 minus 3, and 4 minus 3 is just 1. So really our final answer is just 10 minus 5 rad 3. Much easier looking than the previous one, which is one of the great advantages to rationalization. So now let's try the right hand side equation or expression. So in this problem, let's multiply top and bottom again by the conjugate. So this time the bottom is a minus, so we're going to have to multiply by a plus. Rad 3 plus rad 2 and rad 3 plus rad 2. In the numerator, we have the perfect square trinomial. We have rad 3 plus 2 times rad 3 plus 2, so that's rad 3 plus 2 squared. And by that formula, we know rad 3 times rad 3 is 3, plus 2 copies of rad 2 times rad 3, which is rad 6, plus rad 2 times rad 2, which would just be 2. So that's what we're going to get on the top. And then on the bottom, we get the first one squared, 3, minus the second one squared, which is 2. So final answer, numerator, 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 2 rad 6, and in the denominator 3 minus 2 is just 1, so I'm not even going to bother writing it down. 5 plus 2 rad 6. How about you try one on your own then? Try doing 10 over rad 7 plus rad 2. Now assuming you paused the video, tried this out on your own, let's do it together. Top and bottom, we're going to multiply by rad 7 minus rad 2, rad 7 minus rad 2. So in the numerator we have 10 multiplied by rad 7 minus rad 2, and in the denominator we have rad 7 times rad 7, also known as 7, and minus rad 2 times rad 2, which is 2. But notice now, so we don't get a 1 this time like we did on those other ones, but we do have 7 minus 2, which is equal to the number 5. So that denominator part of 7 minus 2 is actually equal to the number 5. So we have 10 rad 7 minus rad 2 over the number 5, which we can then reduce nicely with the 10 to give us a final answer of 2 rad 7 minus rad 2. I could imagine some people preferring it like this. They might distribute the 2 through, but I'd say either of these are acceptable answers.